Winnie Harlow, should black women date outside the race?
Black women and all women should date whoever they want to date.
I agree with Winnie. I believe that you should date who feeds your soul. But who feeds my soul is a black man. And I'm gonna tell you why. I feel like when I think about the trauma that black men have gone through, along with the trauma that a black woman has gone through, we're able to heal each other because we know each other's pain. We know our ancestors' pain. Black men need a black woman, and black women need a black man to help us be better. And because we know each other, we need each other to heal those wounds that were never really treated.
Welcome to my channel. This is Divested Diamonds. You have arrived. Before I begin this video, I would like to say thank you to those of you who've been participating in the community posts. You know, I really appreciate your thoughts and comments, but most of all, I appreciate you. Thank you, ladies. So some of you already know who we're going to be talking about in this video. I just want to show you what it looks like to not be on code. I would like for you to listen to what misinformation sounds like. There are a lot of black women on YouTube who hate other black women. These women use shaming tactics to throw other black women under the bus. Some of you know who this person is, right? She goes by the name Shay Sharday. She's one of those B1 mammies who takes every opportunity to spew negativity at divestors. She sits on panels with black men speaking badly about divestors. I think, like a lot of other black male-identified pick-me's who are new to this space and don't understand the history of black men and black women on this platform as far as the quote-unquote gender war is concerned, she has very little knowledge of what black women have had to endure at the hands of these black men. She enjoys cheerleading for these men like the mammy that she is. She's married to a black man, and you would think, right, that she would spend most of her time nurturing her quote-unquote black love or discussing issues based on that. But it's much more interesting, it seems, to talk about what we're doing over here. These women are obsessed with what it is that we choose to do with our lives. They cannot believe that we, as black women, are not stigmatized like they are. It's hard for them to understand that there is life outside of the black male collective. This woman has a thing for divestors. And by thing, I mean hatred. If she were a man, right, she would have a boner for divestors all day, every day. She can't help herself. The hatred for other black women is real. And I know hatred is a strong word, but that's the kind of energy that she gives off. Most of her videos, as far as divestment is concerned, are full of misinformation and assumptions. She's definitely the female version of the manosphere. Her pick-me mammy vibes and the need to desperately want to align herself with black men are very prevalent. She talks a lot about divestment, but doesn't appear to know the difference between that and swirling. And like most people, she keeps conflating the two. She also doesn't care to do her homework on black femicide and the reasons as to why majority of black women are fed up of being used and abused by black men. This woman sat on a panel with black men trying to debunk femicide because she doesn't believe that the numbers are correct. It's really sad. She doesn't care to understand why black women want to distance themselves from the toxicity of the so-called community. She does not want to accept the fact that the quote-unquote community is broken, toxic, and dangerous to Black women and children. Her unwillingness to accept the truth and her tenacity in wanting to prove any Black woman wrong for telling the truth, the facts about their own experiences with Black men is what makes her more dangerous than Pookie and Ray Ray. Women like her will put your feet to the fire for telling the truth because they are so Black male identified, they refuse to see things for what they really are. And here's the thing. She does give a lot of unwarranted advice to divestors through her videos, but pay attention to how she does it though. It's in the form of humiliation and shaming tactics. The embarrassing part of it is that every time she talks about divestors or divesting, it all falls apart because she doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. She's like most other people on YouTube who talk a lot of crap about issues that they don't understand. She's your typical YouTube troll who does it for Cash Apps or Venmo. And if you've watched any of her videos, you will know that she doesn't speak for more than 5 minutes without begging for donations. The Mammyism is super strong in this one. People like her and Jessica X pander to these Black males because they do enjoy the Black male attention. Married or not, they love being objectified by Black men. So a while ago, she did an interview with a Caucasian woman in a sorry attempt to try and embarrass divestors and the Level Up community. This woman went out of her way to make Black women appear desperate, stupid, and delusional. Let's listen to what she had to say, and I'll be back with the rest of my commentary.
Okay, so then with that, would you encourage Black women to seek out white men as husbands so they can avoid pain, hardship, and have good marriages?
Absolutely not. I'm sorry, I don't mean to smile at it. It's just so preposterous that I don't even know how to address it. I don't. It's just, I've learned so much about domestic violence, and it goes across finances. It doesn't matter if I've seen some very, very poor people with most beautiful marriages. And
then you see rich people who are, I remember when I worked in $1 million, I was working in Ruby Hill. I was working there, $1 million, golf course club. And some of the awkwardness I saw between those couples, men who did not want to go, who literally spent their entire time at the bar getting drunk because they didn't want to go home to their wives. They didn't want to go home to their kids. And I'm like, you have all the money in the world. You should be happy. But they weren't.
It's not true. It's almost like you have the money that can afford you to go on another vacation or go out and buy something, but that's not going to make your marriage any better. You're trying to stuff it with the wrong things. And it's actually very sad.
Yeah.
When you see it, when you see someone doing that, you have to pray for them.
Well, this is, like I said, partially why I wanted to have this conversation, because so many people nowadays are just guessing. And most people didn't grow up in, if they did grow up in a family, there was dysfunction at best.
Right.
And then most people just didn't. They didn't see a man and a woman working together. They didn't see families. And so, many people are just guessing. They're just trying to figure it out the best they can. And then you add that with just a lot of the toxic culture that is being promoted. Everything from, I shared with you earlier, the hypergamy Level Up, which is women saying, oh, well, just marry a rich man and your life will be okay, to divesting, which is saying, oh, just marry a white man and then your life will be perfect and stress-free, to just, all the stuff. You're just like, this is not true.
So bizarre that somebody would think that. I just don't know of any nationality that you could marry that would take care of you and be a perfect husband.
Yeah.
None. No.
So the title of her video is Grandmother of 7 Debunks Divesting. I can tell you now that this woman did not debunk anything. It appears that she had bad experiences with domestic violence at some point in her life, and I empathize with that. Abuse of any kind isn't and shouldn't be tolerated in any relationship. However, I don't understand why Shay is talking about divestment to a woman who doesn't understand the struggles of Black women. Yes, I understand that regardless of race, we as women do have commonalities when it comes to certain relationship struggles. But to use this woman's responses as a way to deter Black women from dating out is just backstabbing. It's dirty and it's grimy. The original question that somebody asked was, would you encourage Black women to seek out white men as husbands to avoid pain and hardship and have good marriages? First of all, this question sounds like it was asked by someone who hasn't experienced interracial relationship before. This sounds like the type of question someone would ask if they were thinking of dating or marrying out, but still undecided. As divestors, none of us are under the illusion that dating out will free us from regular relationship issues. No true divestor thinks that. If I were to take a guess, I would say that that question was asked by a potential swirler, not a divestor. And once again, for the 100th time, divestment isn't about dating or marrying white men. We are not fetishists over here. And none of us think that getting into a relationship with someone of a different race automatically erases all of your problems. That sounds stupid. It sounds delusional. And it sounds insane. And this woman is reaching. Divestment, once again, is about ridding yourself of all negative aspects of your life by starting anew and putting yourself first. You are the most important part of the process. It's about taking care of you and your needs, first and foremost, and nothing to do with dating out. The dating or marriage part of it comes later, after you have taken care of your own issues and gotten yourself to a better place. Do divestors date or marry out? Absolutely. Nobody's denying that. But it's not the sole purpose of divestment. It's actually quite sad to see this woman gleeful by the white lady's affirmations. You know, she actually felt as though she had a gotcha moment, when really she hadn't done her research at all. This whole situation seemed very desperate to me. And FYI, any person of any race can be unhappy in their relationship at any given time. And I like how the white lady said, I've seen the most poor people in beautiful relationships, as if having abundance is somewhat of a disadvantage. Now, from what I could see, she's a woman of a particular age and probably got married during a time when it wasn't the norm for a woman to have a career and take care of her husband and the household. I'm guessing that she chose the latter. And I can see how someone can be financially trapped in a marriage if that were the case, especially where financial abuse is present. From the way that she spoke, it seemed as though she had experienced something along those lines. That's just my take on it. So Shay mentions how people these days are just guessing. She says they are trying to figure it out as best they can. Isn't everybody though? Figuring life out has been happening since the beginning of our existence. No one has it all figured out. We don't have all the answers. Some people are just better at navigating through it than others. And then, of course, she dives into shaming the level up women who practice hypergamy. You see, this is what happens when you think like these modern men. She's basically manosphere in a dress. Like, what are you talking about? Women are naturally hypergamous. If that's not how you live your life, and you believe in the whole 50-50 BS, That, to me, sounds like a personal problem, okay? It sounds like a you problem. Hypergamy is necessary because as a woman, you have a lot to lose in relationships majority of the time. If you're not practicing hypergamy, you're probably doing way too much in your relationship. Childbearing, diminished mental health, societal norms and expectations have had women feeling insecure about themselves and jumping through hoops. And for what? The feeling that you're not enough happens to all women at some point in their lives. You can't be comfortable as a woman because these factors won't allow you to be yourself. And then the cherry on top of this messy crap cake is when she says, basically, that divesting is about marrying white men and your life will be perfect and stress-free. Huh? What are you talking about? Who exactly expects life to be perfect and stress-free? This is not a fantasy. Who told you that? This was a smear campaign on divestors. The desperation to try and make us look as though we are these idiots who live in La La Land and fetishize white men was just, sorry not sorry, pathetic. I'm telling you, these pro-black B1 mammies really think divestors are stupid. They think we're delusional. The funny part of it all is that she doesn't even know or understand what divestment is. The fact that she's out here talking to this white lady, putting black women who level up or divest down, and making a mockery of black women to a woman of another race is just, it's mind-blowing. It's insane. You can't make this shit up. And before somebody jumps into my comment section talking about, well, you did a video on a white man who was talking about treating black women well, blah, blah, blah. Listen, get out of my comment section and shut the fuck up. That was a response video with additional commentary, okay? Factual commentary. This is part of the reason mammies and divestors will never see eye to eye. It's exactly this level of treachery that puts us in a position to not get along. Imagine this white woman talking to black women about other white women and their issues and how dumb they are for wanting something different by choosing to live life for themselves. Misery loves company. Most of these mammies are always looking to coerce other black women into being miserable just like they are. I don't think divestors have ever said perfection comes in a different skin tone. I don't know about other people, but I'll speak for myself. When I started doing YouTube videos in June of 2016, right, 2016, my message towards black women was always consistent. Vet the men that you allow in your personal space. Protect your energy and don't put up with trashy behavior from black men or men of other races. If you refuse to put up with bad, abusive behavior from men who look like you, why would you tolerate or accept that from men of other races? I also talked about staying away from fetishists, aka curious samplers. What's a curious sampler, you ask? A fetishist? But I'm going to do a separate video on that because we do need to have that conversation. These are the things that I was talking about back then. Even when black women attacked me for trying to protect them from a white male YouTuber who was taking their money in exchange for compliments and phony videos of upliftment. My concern was to make sure that Black women understood that not all attention is good attention. That man knew absolutely well that he wasn't interested in dating or marrying Black women, but would take their money though. I tried warning Black women about him, and his female subscribers would come to my channel to attack me. Funny thing is, this man is still being promoted today by a non-divester who does divestment videos. Again, women like Shay Sharday, Jessica X, The Crimson Cure, and all these other women who think that they understand divestors or divestment do these videos for clicks, views, and the denigration of other Black women. And as far as Jessica X is concerned, she talks a lot of shit about Black American women, and she has never been to this country. She's a 23 or 25-year-old biracial woman who lives in East London, who has a disdain for Black American women. Unless, of course, you're the type who panders to Black men. She panders to the manosphere and has somehow found a friend in Kevin Samuels, and they've bonded on their mutual hatred for Black women. We as divestors have so many haters in this space, and there's always someone waiting in the shadows ready to celebrate the downfall of this movement. Divestment, in a nutshell, is about self-preservation. There are a lot of people who talk divestment but don't have your best interest at heart. Like I said, please pay attention. So, what are your thoughts on what's been discussed here? Please leave your thoughts and comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And remember, ladies, divestment is a personal choice. You don't need permission from anyone to rid yourself of toxicity and situations that no longer serve you. Thank you so much for watching. This is Divested Diamonds, and I'll see you next time. Bye, diamonds.